your tuck. See my kicks when I see y'all walk. Flex on me, y'all ain't strong. Say my name, that's Sam Law. Still on top, yeah, it's been that long. They won't know till I say I'm gone. They won't know, say my name. Hey everyone, and welcome to the That Sam Law Show. Today's episode is going to be about beauty. You know, all of us out there want to make sure we look our best, and we want to get advice from people that know what they're talking about. So today I have Krista DeMaio. She is a Long Island beauty editor. She's going to tell us about all of the amazing things that she does and give us some of her hot tips on makeup, beauty, skincare, whatever it is she wants to talk about. We're going to dig into her. So, well, we're not really going to dig into her because it sounds like we're going to eat her. We're not going to eat her. I promise we're not going to eat you. But we just want to dig into her story and also know how to be more beautiful. Come on. So, Krista, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks so much for having me here today. I'm from Deer Park originally.
Nice.
Class of 1998.
Hey!
I had always wanted to work in women's magazines as a young child. My mother was a magazine junkie. We had piles of them around the house, and I would go through them and say, someday I'm going to work as an editor.
Wow.
I don't think I really understood what that meant, but that was my dream.
What was your favorite?
You know, I mean, when I was a kid, I liked the teen magazines like YM and Sassy and 17. But my mom used to read Red Book, which was a little foreshadowing for me because I ended up working there. I went to Fordham University for journalism, communications. I picked that school because of its proximity to the city, so I can get internships. And my first internship was at YM magazine, which was such a cool experience. And I started in the fashion department. And I was steaming clothes all day long in a fashion closet, and I went, wait, when do we get to write? So I didn't even know there was such thing as a beauty department until I saw one, and I had asked if I could be their intern. So for, I think, another 2 semesters, I stayed on board. They basically had to kick me out.
Oh.
But from there, that launched my career, and I worked for startup magazines. I worked at Red Book for the biggest span of my career. I worked at Shape, OK Magazine, which is a celebrity tabloid, which was fun. Then when I had my first daughter, I was a freelance writer, and I wrote for titles such as Oprah, Dr. Oz, Allure, Cosmopolitan, Self, basically any magazine that was paying me to do so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you kind of have the story similar to the girl in Devil Wears Prada?
Yes, there are a lot of similarities. I think working at magazines like Red Book, it was a little more down to earth and not so.
No Anna Wintour type.
No, I mean, you know, there were definitely personalities, and I have some fun stories, but for the most part, I worked with really amazing people, primarily women, who became my mentors and really shaped who I am today.
That's so cool. That is a cool story. Hey everyone, it's Sam Law of the That Sam Law Show, and I just want to welcome a very special person, our sponsor, John Bell of the Bell Law Group. John Bell, tell us about the Bell Law Group.
So we're a law firm in Syosset, Long Island, and we focus on employment law and personal injury law. The reason we focus on that is basically to fight for people in need. That's the reason why I became a lawyer, and that has been the mission of the Bell Law Group since I started it 20 years ago. Started out as a law office of Jonathan Bell, but then when it became more than just me, we decided to change the name, change the logo and branding to the Bell Law Group, and we've been out there ever since.
Great. So John Bell, if anyone needs your services, how can they reach you?
855 John Bell, JONBELL, or on our website, belllg.com.
Thank you. I know personally what it's like to kind of get to work for like big brands or interview people like you've been dying to meet. I had like the opportunity to interview Cisco.
Wow.
I've gotten to do stuff with like Ja Rule. Like it's just weird. Like you're a kid, you're looking at this stuff, and then you're like, maybe one day that's gonna be me, and then it becomes you.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so you told us how you got into the industry, but one of the things when I was going over your body of work, I noticed that you mentioned that you don't really consider yourself a beauty influencer, but rather an editor who defers to the experts. How do you balance your role as an editor with your goal of engaging your audience and building a community of beauty professionals and enthusiasts?
Right. So I started LI Beauty Scene in 2021. It was during the pandemic, and I was feeling like, okay, what's next? I need to do something big. So I thought, I'm going to take what I already know how to do and bring it to Long Island. Because at the time, there was no one really covering beauty in any kind of a big way out here. And you know, Newsday would do it here and there, but I wanted to have a website dedicated to the Long Island industry. And the thing that sets me apart from influencers is that I defer to experts, because that's always what I've done as an editor. You know, we shape stories, we've amassed our own knowledge, but really the information comes from well-vetted sources.
That's true.
So that's what I try to bring to my blog and my Instagram pages. I think that it is a balance of trying to put me out there, but then also highlight the experts. And I try to, when I share a tip, I will give credit to where it came from. If it's my own tip, of course, I just share it. But I really try to kind of balance that out, the mix of well-vetted sources and also just me as an expert in beauty as well.
That's great. I think it's important. I know when I started the show, it's been 3 years now, that was like critical to us, was to make sure that, you know, we were developing a show where we were deferring to people from the island, from New York, that knew, like, they were experts in their field, because we want to give people real vetted, sourced advice. You know, you want people to do what they're doing and to learn, but you also want people to be safe, especially when you're dealing with like beauty and skincare.
There's a lot of bad tips on TikTok. My daughter is a tween and she loves TikTok, and she'll tell me some of the tips that she heard and wants to try, and I'm like, whoa, we're not doing that. You're putting certain concoctions on your face.
Have you, like, with that in mind, like, what's one of the most overrated, like, beauty regimens or products that you feel like people are obsessed with?
I may come under fire for this one, but I'm going to say the ingestible collagen. I've done stories on it. I know people are obsessed with it, and maybe they have their own anecdotal stories about how it's helping them. But there are really no studies to prove that it does anything. Maybe it does help your joints, but you can't direct that it's going to your skin. So you're taking it for your whole body, that's wonderful. But there's no way to say that it's going to get into your body and go to your skin where you're looking for some kind of a change. So really our best bet is the topicals that we know do work, like retinoids and peptides, and the treatments and injectables and all of that stuff.
Recently, I was on the Beyonce's internet, and I saw that women are going out and they're getting these really intense, like, chemical peels. Like, it's almost like the chemicals are so, I forgot what it was. If it was something like really, really intense, and it like peels like not 5 layers, but several layers of their skin off, and almost has to regenerate. But it does regenerate. After that regeneration phase, they look like they've aged like 10 years backwards. Yeah,
there's different variations of chemical peels, and there's some that you can go out the next day and you look completely fine and no one would know. Those are the deeper ones. They're kind of like phenol peels and TCA, and they require downtime. You're bandaged up and you're in your room, and you can't even really go out in this daylight because your skin would be so sensitive to the sun as it's regenerating. But they really do work if you can deal with the pain and the recovery time.
And it looks painful, but I was like, I don't need to age back 10 years because I don't want to look like a little child, but I'm like keeping it in the back of my head in case, you know, just in case. I'm sure by the time I need it, they'll have super perfected it. But no, that's pretty cool that you're like, you get to know about things that are like absolutely insane, and then things that sound kind of crazy but can be like really beneficial. So your content, it often highlights like local businesses and beauty professionals. Could you share a memorable experience or story from one of your interviews that it exemplifies the character of the Long Island beauty industry?
Sure. I've done a lot of blog interviews with Long Island's local celebrities who are like the News 12 anchors, who are a lot of fun to talk to. and other experts like the Long Island, Miss Long Island pageant winners. But some of my favorite have been sort of the more grassroots programs that are going on here that a lot of people maybe wouldn't know about. The summer before last, I covered a Long Island Beauty Expo, which was sort of a trade show, but it was with a spin. They had a runway show, and it was they featured a local fashion designer, and it was really a fun experience. And it was being held in a theater at Patchogue, and they did get press from Newsday, but I think that I have such a strong network of beauty enthusiasts that it helped get it out on my platform that they were doing this, and just hearing the story and the passion behind it, it was really moving, and I hope that they bring it back to Long Island because it was a lot of fun to cover.
That's awesome. I know on your website you like to focus on Long Island beauty, Long Island influencers, like people that are moving and shaking in the community. And one of the things that really stood out to me is that you created a Black-owned business section. Right. Nobody else really has this, and it's gained a lot of traction. Can you share some examples of how your platform has promoted diversity and representation within the beauty industry?
Right. That page is my second most visited on the entire site. So
wow.
I'm actually really proud of it, and I really try hard to stay on top of it and keep updating it because as I gain new followers or word of mouth, I keep finding out more Black-owned businesses to add to it. And so that's seen by not only Long Islanders that visit my website, but people all over the country.
That's
and
awesome.
The thing with anyone running a business these days, social media is almost like a full-time job. And I really feel for hairstylists and nail salon techs that are behind the chair all day, that then they have to come home and make all these reels and whatnot to market themselves. So having that and going out to my platform, I find that they're getting additional exposure that maybe they wouldn't have gotten. And one of the things I've noticed is the network of professionals I've created, that they follow each other, they collaborate, they work together, and they find each other through my page. And I have a celebrity nail artist who lives on Long Island, and she often uses the people that I promote as assistants on her shoots.
Wow.
So I think that it's kind of worked out in ways that I didn't even see coming.
That's
I just
awesome.
thought, okay, let me give people more exposure, go follow them, book them, but it's really helping to elevate their career.
I love that you focused on inclusivity. I have had guests on this show that have beauty brands, and they're always looking to get their brand out there. They're from Long Island or New York, and they're always looking to get their brand out there. And like you said, working your job all day or creating all day your products, and then having to go home and create Instagram reels or TikToks. Like, people are tired. I've literally had some of them come to me and be like, hey, can you do some social media content? Do you have any models? And I'll be like, yeah, but it'd be nice to point them in the direction of a space where they can get their brand out there. I'm definitely gonna send them your way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
That's awesome. I'm out of breath, y'all. In case y'all didn't notice, I'm pregnant. Wait, let me show y'all my bump. So sorry for that, but I am totally out of breath. So as someone who highlights local beauty businesses, have you ever discovered a hidden gem that you just can't keep to yourself, or do you like to keep all those secrets to yourself?
I don't keep any secrets to myself.
Ooh, really?
I think that's why I ended up in the field that I'm in, because when I find something I like, I love to share it with anyone who will listen. So I don't like being a gatekeeper. I think, especially for promoting our local community and businesses, I think it's so important to share what I like, because then it's only going to benefit them. So yeah, I mean, when I find a local gem, a new spot, I'm most definitely going to cover it and share it with my followers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, you get to talk to all these cool beauty professionals. Have they ever given you some really memorable beauty advice, and did you try it out?
The OG beauty influencer in my life is my mother. She was a hairstylist growing up and got her cosmetology license so she could do makeup too. And she's really who shaped me and how I ended up in this industry to some degree. So one of the things that she's always told me was to tone down something before I leave the house. It's sort of like the fashion equivalent of taking one thing off before you leave the house. So before I leave, I always do like the blush check, and I usually wipe a little off because I think sometimes we don't realize how heavy-handed we're being until we're out in natural light. But I think, just basic paying attention to science is really important to me, because there are a lot of ingredients out there plucked from the middle of the Sahara Desert, and we don't have many guarantees that they work, but we do know from studies what does work, and not falling for the gimmicks and really checking out where the source is, who it's coming from, reading labels, and trying to understand what the ingredients are has really been the best advice that I've gotten, because I feel like I'm not falling for snake oil. I'm kind of standing behind my purchase.
No, I agree with that. Back in the day, talking about advice from your mom, back in the day, my mom always told me to keep cold cream.
Yeah.
She was like, it works for like a million things.
It was Olay.
Yeah, taking the makeup off. Like it just had it has so many uses, and like your grandma's used it, your mom's used it, like it's lasted forever. It's one of those tried and true beauty products that you can keep using. That's gotta be one of my favorites. And one of the things you said that I found interesting is you said like kind of reduce something on your makeup or take something off. One of my favorites that I don't know if I came up with this on my own, but I know like women out there like to be sexy and they like to look good, but I have this thing. If you're showing off like one of your sexy parts, like don't show off the rest.
Right.
So if
Pick one.
if you're showing off that backside, or you're showing off the twins, just pick one. Don't pick, like, don't let them both hang out. You can still be a brick house without letting it all hang out. But I find that,
it's a balance.
Yeah.
It's like eyes or lips. If you're going to do a smoky eye, then you do a more toned down, muted lip. If you're going to do a bold red lip, which is my favorite, then you go a little bit softer on your eyes.
Right, yeah. And those tips work, and you'd be surprised, like, how much positive attention, like, you'll attract, and just how good you'll feel. Like, you'll feel really good when you're really, like, working in your own magic and your own beauty. Like, you feel awesome, and it radiates to others. So, one of the things that's really dope, and I just want to congratulate you on your nomination for Best of Long Island and the Best of Long Island Personality category. That's big. That's one of my goals.
It's huge, and it really came as a shock to me. I thought there had to be a mistake, and maybe that it was from my blog. I am so honored to have that nomination. I actually would consider myself an introvert. I'm a little bit shy. And my career has forced me to step outside my comfort zone, and here I am on a talk show. So that it really is a big deal. It's a big deal for the brand, because I think it's just going to bring more awareness, and people will hear about it now. And whether I even become a finalist, whether I win, it doesn't matter. Just the fact that I'm nominated in that category, it's just really such an honor for me.
No, that's awesome. When I saw it pop up, I shared it immediately.
I saw that.
I haven't met her yet, but I'm sharing this. This is cool. Like, that's a big deal to be honored by your home. Like,
yes.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So, what does it mean to you in personally in like your terms of dedication to the local beauty scene to have like such an honor?
I think that it just helps elevate the beauty industry out here as a whole, because that's what my goal is, to bring my editorial skill set that I've had for over 20 years to my work and to the Long Island beauty industry. And it's really about kind of elevating the standard out here, celebrating what we have. People that really work hard, that don't have the budget for PR, they're not going to get picked up by the editors at major magazines. So it's like, this is what I can do to help get them out there and give them the recognition that I think that they deserve, because our local businesses and especially in beauty, it really is the backbone of the beauty industry. Maybe it's the big wigs in New York and LA who are setting the trends, but these are the people behind the chair doing the work, and I really think that they deserve recognition for it. So if I'm nominated, if I win, I just feel like it continues to shed the light on them.
It absolutely does. I'm so proud of you. So what can we expect next for you?
I have a lot of exciting things in the works, and I'm hoping to take my blog and develop it more into a digital publication.
Nice.
And have some cool features for advertising and whatnot. And I'm hoping that I continue to do more events. Last year I got to be a keynote speaker at a gala, which was really exciting. So I really, and I was saying I'm an introvert, and I've actually learned that I really do enjoy getting out there and speaking about something that I'm so passionate about. So I would love to do more like that and host my own events, some Long Island beauty gatherings across the island so
That's
people
nice.
could
Make sure you invite
sample. Absolutely.
us. Please, we'll be there. We will show up and
Yeah.
show out. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing whatever you're getting into. I'm looking forward to seeing it, supporting it. Hopefully we get to have you back, and tell my audience where they can find you, how they can stay in touch
Right.
with you.
So I am at libeautyscene.com. That is where my website, my blog. I also have a concierge service, so if somebody needs help finding a professional, I can help find them in their area, their budget, whatever works best. And I am also on Instagram at libeautyscene.
Nice. Well, we will definitely be reaching out to you when we need some concierge services.
I'm the beauty matchmaker. That's
Nice.
my
Oh, I
official
like that,
title.
the beauty matchmaker. Listen,
Right.
if you need the beauty matchmaker, hit up Krista DeMaio, LR Beauty Scene. Listen, I'm so happy to have you here and share this moment with you, and you sharing this moment with me. Thank you, everyone, for just the support and for tuning in to That Sam Law Show.